What, you want me to do the intro?
You're the intro guy
Welcome,
now.
everyone, to another episode of Ecosystem Insights. It's your hosts, David and Fez, and today we're going to run you through what's been happening in the icon ecosystem as of recent. Fez, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good, man. These intros are getting good. You can tell, like,
Thank you.
no tech diff today, so this is a great start. Okay, well, let's dive straight into the news. It's been a month. A lot has happened. I feel there's a lot of craft news, and then we've had Gangster Bet, Blobble, Frame, and that's what we're going to cover. So let's just jump in. Okay, first things first. Gangsterverse. Their game is finally about to launch. It's
gone through beta testing, alpha testing, gamma delta testing. It's gone through zeta testing, and the 23rd of March, it is on. There is a lot of Gangster Bet holders out there.
May. Yes, it's on.
What did I say?
Not March. You're going back in time, man. No, 23rd of March next year. No, yes.
6 days from recording, we're going to go live with the Gangsterverse, and this is actually the gang wars element of the Gangsterverse. So the Gangsterverse is, this entire universe of Gangster Bet NFTs, gameplay, collectibles, earnings. There's GBet tokens, crown tokens hovering around in it, and this is the gang wars portion of the universe that's launching 6 days from now from recording. We're looking at the thread. What you're going to be able to do is battle your Gangster Bet NFTs against other players and earn crown tokens for winning. I don't think you lose anything necessarily if you lose. I don't think you lose your NFTs, Fez. Otherwise, you'd have very little players. But it's been a long time coming. A lot of work has gone into designing the storyline, the game mechanics, making it fun and rewarding to play. Get ready.
So lots happened, and one of the things I want to do is interview Larke and the team. Actually, this is a famous excuse. You know how the dog ate my homework. Actually, we had everything arranged, David. It was all going to happen last week. And
what happened?
The internet stopped working at my house.
It did?
Yes. And it then just turned out I panicked because I've been having a ton of tech diff ever since I got a few new bits and pieces, as you can see my image quality. But I thought I broke the internet, but it turns out the entire town lost internet because some works out there, they pulled the cable out and some nonsense. Anyway, so that's why we did an interview. And now we've rescheduled it to what I'm hoping is tomorrow. So plan to get that content out as well. And in that, we're going to talk about how it's evolved and where we're at. Because, we got loot crates, we got weapons. David, I am still hoarding my GBet tokens. I refuse to spend them. I'm holding them as gold. Okay, and
you've got to start spending though, Fez, because higher level Gangster Bets perform better in the gang wars. So if you want to play and actually get rewarded, you need higher level Gangster Bet. But the interview that was all set, it was going to be with Lackey, and Lackey is the Gangster Bet OG. Like, you had him on the show. Is it two and a half years ago, talking about that initial launch of the 5,555 Gangster Bets, and he knows it inside out. And we were really going to pick his brain and tell us what the exciting parts, what tactics could you deploy. So we're still going to be doing that. If the dog doesn't eat your internet next week or tomorrow.
No promises, but exciting times. Look, and one other thing, I just, David, this is a bit of a rant, a personal note to call out. I am well aware with the Gangster Bet team had gone to CPS for a few times for funding. They're building something quite big. Sometimes I do want to call out, they do go to CPS for funding where they identify something that would be cool that they could utilize in their game, because they are one of the few teams building an actual game on Icon to take advantage of Icon's features, speed, etc. So they'll identify aspects, they'll look at other ecosystems, they have this, or they have these contracts that enable this kind of functionality. Cool. we'll build that on Icon so we can utilize it for our game. And in a lot of cases, even though you see the Gangster Bet team, some of the stuff they're going to build, they may want to utilize for their game, but it's kind of enabling extra utility for everyone who's building in the Icon ecosystem. And I'm talking about that NFT rental contract that went to CPS. That was an additional feature that essentially could open up options. And I'll use Framed as an example. Like once these contracts were built, Frame, if they build a trading card game and they want to build a trading feature into the game, etc., they could utilize these standard template contracts and then tweak them to the way they want to do it and create a rental system where, you're going into a big tournament and you're able to rent out these dynamite cards of different players. And that's just an example I'm giving. So something I want while everyone's listening. CPS is decentralized. Everyone's meant to have their views, but just keep this in mind. Don't fall into the stigma that, here's a team just wanting more money. That is just not the case. A lot of the time now, it is about their team or the teams they work with closely, aka the Tezos bridge that the team has been working on, looking to deliver. Gangster Bet team sponsored them. They're part of a bigger unit, that work for the same company, and that's how they're sharing their resources and skill sets and knowledge to help Icon get better adoption. So anyway, that's my little 2 cents rant that I thought of, because I felt quite passionately about that. I love anything that enables functionality of some way or gives more options to our builders that are around to utilize. And the one community that is very much prominent is our NFT community. So you don't know what cool things await unless those features are there for someone to go and start tweaking and playing with, right? So
yeah, I guess my gripe with that is, technically makes sense. It gets built, anyone can use it, it's open source. Where is it though? Like, where is this information? Because if 7 teams are building something that's going to be for everyone, and they all host it in their own GitHub repos, which is hidden behind their own websites or Medium articles, like, okay, so I enter the Icon ecosystem as a builder and I want to build something new. I have this great idea, and I get a bit of advice. They say, look, you can use this that they built, you can use that, they've built that before, you can plug it all together and you'd have a working dApp within a month or so. Okay, but where is all this?
It's agree. I don't have the answer, but like, what is it? There was another piece that got built. The Icon DAO, the DAOs piece. How then Gangster Bet build these pieces, and then it's open source available for everyone to use. But you're right. There should be more.
Do you mean the Agora platform?
Yeah.
Was that
Stakey? But then Gangster team, used that and built, their where you can stake their tokens and things like that, and added a few extra features to it and used it. So some of that work could get reused. But overall, you've got a point. It needs to be very prominently visible and said that end work will be available in this repo for anyone to adopt, use, fork, and start doing their own thing with. Okay,
we're in agreement, Fez.
We are totally. Okay, Craft Network. Ooh, so this is quite cool. It's basically, we know Craft is going multi-chain, and if you use a lot of multi-chain apps, you got to, especially if it's not just EVM compatible, they're on different chains. Say, for example, Ethereum, a Cosmos chain, Neutron, and Icon, you all of a sudden would have 3 different wallets going from Hana, Kepler, and maybe MetaMask. So one of the solutions they've created here is essentially on your account, you can link your wallets, and it asks you to sign it. And then when you come to the site, you can just start using the store, flick between Icon, flick between Neutron. The wallet's there. You're not logging in. You're not doing all of that jazz. It's just there, and you can start interacting. So it's kind of removed this friction point via the website, the storefront, which is great to see.
It is. It's like opening a can of worms when you go cross-chain, Fez. You have to solve for so much little UI and UX issues in the front end. There's wallets that go multi-chain. I know one. Have you heard of Hana Wallet, Fez?
Yes, I do. I use it quite frequently now, David.
They're going to be integrating Cosmos chains
Get
into
out.
HANA Wallet, which would make that feature redundant if you use HANA with Craft. Then again,
Indeed.
yeah, not everyone uses HANA, and you want people from outside to come to see Craft. It looks amazing, functional, keeps getting faster. A lot of stuff going for it, so this helps definitely.
I am giving Big Wiggle a bit of airtime here. I actually laughed quite loudly at this meme. I don't know why I found this quite hilarious. Okay, next up, Craft. More Craft news. What do we got? Ooh, multi-currency update is live. What's this about, David?
Well, previously on Craft, you were buying and selling with ICX. Am I right?
Yes,
Icon
you're right.
token. Requests came in. Hey, can we actually list in the stablecoin, Icon native stablecoin, BNUSD? Can we sell and buy with that? And they said, yes, we can, but we have to build it. And it's been built. It's live. And the native Craft rewards currency is now BNUSD as well, meaning that if you hold Craft tokens, that's the platform token, and you stake them, you will earn your share of what the platform earns, and it will get paid to you in Icon's stablecoin, BNUSD. So what you're seeing come in terms of rewards, it's going to hold its value. So regardless of market sentiment, you can calculate your rewards there and rely on that it's going to be the same throughout.
Yeah, love it. I love it that so you can list BNUSD and Craft now, and yeah, get paid in BNUSD, which is awesome. Some would say real yield, David, real yield. My God, to be earning in stables. Okay, next up, well, real yield is a bit more than that, but to be getting paid when you stake your Craft in BNUSD is pretty cool. The next aspect is Craft. Oh, it's all Craft. It's just coming up Craft at the moment. So they basically, since Balance Launch's bribing feature, they tested out this whole bribing system where essentially on Balanced, your BOM voters who've locked, you've locked your balance, not BOM, you've locked your balance, which is different to BOM. You get B balance, and you can then use that to boost the different liquidity pools. And what that means is you use it to boost where you want the additional, what am I looking for, David, here? The incentives.
Balanced emissions.
Emissions, the balanced emissions, yes. So you get to opt where the balanced emissions go. So Craft thought, well, hang on, why isn't anyone using this feature? Which is super important, David. Why? Craft comes along and goes, yeah, we're going to use this feature. Great. Because at the moment, we're just blowing a lot of emissions on LP and spending and buying and spending, selling, not spending, buying and selling. And so they tested it out. And naturally, first time using the feature where you can double, basically get on your liquidity and earn Craft and balance, everyone's going to ape in onto that because you're getting 2 for 1. Huge success. So they made it official. And this part now means that if you have your LP staked on Craft, which was the old way, you would add your liquidity on Balance, then go to Craft and stake the LP to get the Craft emissions. No, you need to remove that. Go to Craft, remove that LP, go to Balance, stake the LP, and then if you have, I'm not telling you what to do, then decide where you want to vote with your B balance tokens for the balanced emissions. But to qualify for all the emissions, both the twofold, you need to move the LP to Balance. So if you haven't already, go do that.
Yeah.
Have I summed that up well, David?
Yeah, I think I got it. But it is tough to understand what's going on here because there's a lot of moving parts, and breaking it down, it's hard to understand when you can actually participate because you may not be active on Balanced too much, but then you will also not have a chance to earn these Craft emissions. But if you fill the liquidity pool with Craft and staked ICX, if you fill that liquidity pool, you're going to get rewarded with balanced tokens. So if you fill the liquidity pool, you get rewarded in balanced tokens. But if you vote on the platform to allocate balanced emissions, then you're going to get rewarded with craft tokens. So it's a bit like it's a couple of crossed wires there, but I think this is a massive wake-up call to all the other projects that rely on liquidity imbalanced for trading their tokens, because this is the way it's going to be. The balanced emissions, so how much balanced tokens are rewarded to people who provide liquidity, are being decided by vote, like by popular vote. So people who are in the balanced platform and they've locked up their balanced tokens, those are the ones voting now, and they can change their vote on the daily. So before, it was all DAO related. So it had to go to a proposal like, hey, we want to allocate more to this liquidity pair, or we want to allocate more to that liquidity pair. And then we'd all have to vote for 7 days and then wait for it to be actioned. And then the percentages would change a bit. Now, every day, I guess every 24 hours, people can change what they want. So if a next project comes in with a good plan, a lot of votes might move away from this craft staked ICX pool, and the balanced rewards for liquidity providers would drop. But at the moment, they're the only ones who have actually actively jumped on this, and therefore everyone's voted for them. Heck, I voted for them because it's the only way to get some rewards there.
Yield. Yes, agree.
But it's pulling away the rewards from the other pools, so it gets less attractive to be a liquidity provider in another pool. So I guess if you're a project in the Icon ecosystem, just take a close look at this and see what you have to do to hop on this balanced functionality, because it's essentially a balanced functionality that they offer.
Agree. And you can see here, Scott actually tweeted this out, that they've gained 40% of the balance incentives. So balanced emissions, like this is literally the highest emission pool. They're earning the highest emissions. And they've also added another 50% in their own liquidity. So, and we know the deeper the liquidity, the better it is for the overall token, et cetera, et cetera.
That balance, those balanced tokens are not getting, the emissions aren't growing because more people are voting. They pull it away from other pools because it is, pardon the pun, a balance altogether. So if I was another project, let's say if I'm framed and I've got my frame token paired with staked ICX, you might want to bribe users to vote for framed instead. So you might want to allocate a bribe to you and me to vote for the framed pool, and then that 707 balance that currently goes to the craft staked ICX pool would start coming down, and it would be more attractive. But it requires some technical work to implement the balanced feature here, and it has to fit your tokenomic scheme, right? So if you have designed your tokenomics in a different way, then this doesn't always work out. So at the moment, I'd say craft is benefiting the most, but they're also showing the rest how it's done. So I would expect more to follow.
Yeah, agree. Great. Next up, okay, so if you haven't caught this already, it's coming up, Craft. So obviously Craft have announced their first partnership, Neutron. Neutron in the Cosmos chain world is a big deal because it is the first chain to share the interchain security model. What that means is traditionally IBC chains spin up. They need their own validator set for security. Now you can imagine as more chains keep spinning up, it costs money to run these validators to secure the blockchain. And it becomes a real fight. And your chain has to be successful, popular, have stuff going on to secure validators so that they earn money to secure the chain. Atom, the OG, the first Cosmos chain, they're there. And what they're doing is rather than having your own validator set, they're actually tapping into the Atom's validator set for its security. So that Neutron's a separate chain, and the same validator set gives the security, keeps the chain running. And part of that is the rewards, the Neutron token, a portion of their emissions and stuff will actually go to Atom stakers. So if you're securing the Cosmos network, stake to it. Those validators are keeping the chain running. Now you'll start earning staking rewards for Atom and for Neutron. So it's quite cool. And so why I'm giving that background is it's kind of a big deal. There'll be a few more chains that now keep launching, utilizing this model. But overall, Neutron's the first. There's a lot of hype around it. And Craft is launching there. And this thread is quite cool. It talks about different components. What I really like, I love this take when Craft 2.0 launches. It's all about real yield, and I'm very big on this, David. You hear me in our private chats always talking real yield. Even in my degen ways now, I only chase real yield. I'm not interested in emissions. If I get emissions on top, great, but real yield. And this is a case of, as they start gaining adoption, creating stores on different platforms, those fees are fees from real users, which get then distributed to Craft stakers, aka real yield. So keep that in mind. This was cool. But I also loved a tweet over here, and everyone knows, like, actually, that's what it's leading to. The phases. So the goal here is they launch separate store on Neutron. Then phase 2, they link it to Icon. And I can see Ethereum here. So that's just super alpha right there. And then phase 3, the broader ecosystem, which I'm gathering is the Cosmos ecosystem. So, and a lot of this will be enabled via xCall. And as we finish, we're already working on xCall on Archway, which is another Cosmos chain. But once that work is done, it will be quite easy for us to start jumping through Cosmos chains that we want to integrate on with some of our products like Balance and Craft. But Craft is doing it a different way to what Balance is going at it. So this is quite a cool picture, I thought. Overall, super bullish. Yeah. Personally, happy to see this kind of progress, reaching out, new ecosystems, new community. They come in, they use the first NFT store. In general, I don't know about you, David, but my venture in the Cosmos space, I haven't seen a fantastic NFT store, quite frankly. So this is quite cool. And if it gains legs and gets a lot of the community, Cosmos, Atom, what am I trying to say? IBC community, that's what I mean, across and for it, we should see it's good for the overall ecosystem.
Yeah. And it's a smart move to launch an established platform like Craft on a new chain, immediately coming in, capturing the crowd that's going to be there. That's very smart. And at the end of the day, the Icon people, ICX holders, benefit from activity between blockchains that Icon is connected to. Any dApp using xCall, that's beneficial for Icon holders. So the more activity there is, the more connections, but more importantly, the more dApps utilizing connections. That's where the value is. So it's great to see, and hopefully they can build on this and others can follow. I'd like to see more and more dApps using xCall.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, great. Okay, next up. Oh, this just a quick thing. So, Cosmos, they have quite a lot of different dApps, chains, etc. A lot of new chains you hear coming up may have like different names: Alexa, Seller,
Axelar.
Axelar. Oh God, no! He's gonna have a field day, Jack. Anyway,
yeah, but you keep saying Alexa, and then you trigger all the smart devices in my home as well. Like the amount of lights that pop on a podcast with you is insane, and the listeners at home as well.
Oh God, I'm embarrassed. Okay, anyway, I will not edit this out, David. So they have a lot of Cosmos chains, and they aggregate a lot of the news. And we're used to seeing this. You see Ethereum, all these different ecosystems, but there's Craft right there, heading out to how many? Yeah, 117,000, which is great to see. I thought a bit of a brag moment for the Craft team.
There they are.
Great. Okay, next up. So Jabba. Oh God, just love the guy. He's been really dishing some alpha. I'm telling you, I still believe he wakes up every morning and scans the entire internet for everything Icon related and comes to us with the latest and greatest. So in this case, do you want to, or shall I?
Oh, I'd like to, yeah. Well, what
Please.
Jabba does is he's in these Discord channels, reading up where the alpha gets dropped first, and then he puts the screenshots on Twitter, which reaches like a broader audience, people who just get it up in their timeline. So it's always interesting because you get it, yeah, you get an insight into Discord. This is about Framed, and Framed we all know for the Yeti collection, the Framed token, the ArtFi ecosystem that combines NFT sales in the ecosystem with DeFi opportunities. And they are shortly going to be releasing Yeti 2.0, which is an iteration of the Yeti collection in the form of farms. And what that means is that you, the user, are going to be able to purchase farms, and you can stake your Yeti into your farm to increase your earnings. Different types of farms equal different types of earnings, and you holding Yeti can stake multiple Yeti into one farm, or explore different combinations, because at the end of the day, the Yeti, they have 4 different tribes, so they can be cloud, water, and 2 other ones. What is it? Air and I don't know, gravel. So if you have one of those 4 types and combine it with certain farms, it'll yield different outcomes. That's gamification there. And for the Yeti, they used to earn you frame token. Holding a Yeti, you would earn frame token, I think 1 a day. And purchasing a Yeti, it would come with X amount of frame tokens as well, right into your wallet. But those earnings stop after a year, which is roughly these days. So the farms kind of coincide with the earning potential of Yeti ending on the one side. And now this offers new opportunity for framed followers, ArtFi, yield hunters to benefit from a new mechanism. And Jabba is the one that is calling it all out. Is there a date?
He really is. When was it? 16th. What are we on? 17th. So yesterday he dropped this. Yeah. The guy's a machine.
I'm not asking when he dropped it. I'm asking when the farms.
Okay. Yes, there are dates for that as well. So we've got different phases. The first phase, 1,700 farms, June 20th. Actually, phase 2 is July. And so they start rolling through the year, and the final batch in January.
Cool. Was there a website coming for Framed?
Yes, there was. They're doing a redesign. They partnered with a website design team, and they're building it out. And you can see over here between the arrows, it says this website will be our first official release with the team they're partnered with.
Design House, that is.
That's right, DH, Design House. But overall, this is pretty cool because people will be able to see the site and know, okay, this is the quality of the work. And if your team building that needs kind of website building services, you just pick up the phone and call Framed.
Because Framed helps out. Framed is like,
that's right.
They can do anything really and have the resources to help any project with questions. That's why we see so much icon projects partner with Framed. Could be on a tokenomic level, could be on I tick 4 out of 5 boxes with my NFT project. Can you help me with the 5th box? And Framed can step in and help you out with that. So really good a team to have in the ecosystem.
Cool. Okay, let's keep moving. David, we're doing quite good on time. Okay, next up. Okay, so Global World, full disclosure, me and David are involved in this project personally, nothing to do with the foundation or anything like that. Just a side project we work on. We all know Paul put blood, sweat, and tears into it. Me, David, and Rook come along to the tail end and
mostly tears.
Yes, okay, mostly tears. We come in at the tail end and give him a whole bunch of revised scope and rebuilds. He's come through. It's gone from Solidity to Java, and it's going to be launching on Icon on the 22nd.
Right. So 2 active days in the Icon ecosystem. 23rd is going to be the Gang Wars launch. 22nd is going to be the Blobble launch. 2 games, but entirely different in gameplay. I would categorize Blobble as more boring, but maybe more rewarding. The gameplay would probably last you maybe 30 seconds a day, if you want to be
That's
in and
right.
out. Whereas then Gang Wars, like much more expansive and a lot more going on. You could spend more time on Gang Wars. And if you do well, earn more, maybe.
Yep. Well, we assume once we have that interview, we'll know. And plus, once the game launches. So, Blubble, Tamagotchi style. This is why David said, like, in the 90s, if you had your Tamagotchi, you didn't sit there for hours kept feeding it. Actually, could you do that? I think that it didn't die if you overfed it, did it?
I think you could like poke it.
Yes.
Or that kind of stuff.
Yes, and it went to sleep. Yeah.
And you'd have it on your keychain, and then you could kind of take it out, and you could, like, I don't know, give it love or whatever. And over time, if you wouldn't do that, its health would kind of deteriorate, and it would start to look unhappy, and it might even make sounds. So that was Tamagotchi back then, and it was a wearable. It was a cool wearable that you could have.
I'm actually looking because TJ put this awesome comment, and he had these Tamagotchis in the hand, and they all had blubbles in there. Oh, damn, I can't find it. But to David's point, yes, that's what it was, and this is what Blubble is. It's like a modernization on the blockchain, Tamagotchi style. You go in, you keep your Blubble happy. If it's happy, you're going to get paid. You're going to earn yield off it in the form of BST. Now, there's a bunch of threads and tweets, so we're being a bit biased, so we won't get there and break down. But if you go and follow at Blubble World, you will see a ton of content coming out every day, breaking down the gamification mechanics of the Blubble World. So, as a gamer, you keep it happy. As a yielder, you earn yield, and there's ways to ramp up how you can earn yield in the Blubble World. And so it definitely encourage. Well, of course, we're biased, so we're going to say, please go take a look. But in general, I get excited talking about Blubble. David
it's
knows,
fun. It's new. It's novel. On Icon, it's different to what you've seen before. It doesn't require all your time. You can come in and do it in your own time and keep your Blubble healthy as such. It's not a conventional collection drop where there's 10,000 blobbles. Quite frankly, there's an unlimited supply of blobbles, but at the same time, unhealthy blobbles they fade away. So they essentially come and go. And with the earning, if you don't keep your blobble healthy in a healthy state, it doesn't earn its share of the BST token. So even if 10,000 would get minted, if no one's keeping them healthy, but for one person, then that person is getting all the rewards. And then a little side note, the older your blobble is, the longer you've kept it healthy, you're going to earn a larger share of the BST as opposed to a newly minted blobble. So you want old and healthy blobbles. There's so much going on there in terms of how you can maximize what you earn, and it can all be found on blobble.xyz and on platforms to come. So there's some information there, but obviously the actual game is going to launch. There's YouTube videos explaining mechanisms. And I heard that Blobble has successfully applied for a university license in the state of the internet.
Oh, nice.
And the university curriculum has been set up. It's been okayed by officials, and it is set to launch soon as well. And now the university where Blobbles essentially go to learn about the game, but so do Blobble owners, is a place where you can read up on the entire game. How does the gameplay work? What's this BST token? What are the token mechanics? How does that work? Some frequently asked questions, all these like videos explaining how you can do stuff. It's all going to be there. It's going to be like a Wikipedia for Blobble, this university, and graduates will do well. So I guess that's the last little nugget for now, is it?
That is. So, and this is the best part. Like, we've taken something very simple in gameplay, and then we've taken some of the best parts of the Icon network, from validators to validator rewards to NFTs. So, and we use all of that to kind of gamify it. So validator rewards go into the actual game because Iron Icon is supporting the launch of this game. So its rewards get fed into one to voters, to actual Blobble holders, to 2 different collections of NFTs, which is iDoge NFTs, so which are still on sale. So if you don't have it, you get it, and you earn a pot of the rewards there. 16-bit Fight Club, and then also the iDoge NFT holders get a boosted reward rate from the Blobble Treasury. And I'm throwing a lot of terms at you, and this is exactly why we have the Blobble University, because we've taken all these mechanics and tied it together that all works very seamlessly. All you have to do is keep your Blobble healthy, vote for Iron Icon, hold an iDoge NFT, and you're going to kind of get the whole package with it. But if you want to know how that package works, that's what the university is there for. But yeah, I think we've given a lot of screen time here, and I get very worried, David, that we're promoting our own project.
I think you're too good of a guy, Fez. So it's okay.
Oh.
It's okay to talk about it a bit. You've given the full disclosure, and you're this excited. So am I. I can give a last little insight to Blobble. We've talked about this before on other podcasts. What is interesting about this Blobble, you can regenerate Blobble appearances, so the way they look, until you have one that you like, and then you can mint that. So you can keep clicking the regenerate button until you get a Blobble that you like. You like its colors, you like its blobs, you like its eyes. Then you can mint the one that you like. And the cool thing about your Blobble NFT is that its underlying code, its underlying appearance, is essentially HTML, which is rendered in browsers. That HTML is stored on the blockchain, meaning that there is no third-party file system that all the other NFT projects utilize to store the images. Your NFT is literally on-chain, and you can prove it because if you look at your rendered Blobble in the game, not on the website, but in the game, you can endlessly zoom in on it, and it will stay ultra high resolution because it is legit. It's your browser is rendering the HTML. So it's not an image that grows, and pixels that get stretched. So that's another just nugget of knowledge. It's 100% on chain. That is, which is again slightly a new approach, fresh approach, entirely on the Icon blockchain. That is, and that is that. Now we really need to stop, Fez.
Yep, no, that's enough. Oh, I have as soon as I start talking, I had so many things to say, but let's stop there. I think that is all the news we have. If we've missed anything, apologize. I know there's been a ton of different things. Penguin's got a heap of stuff going on. I expect their website, which framed a building in the background, which is pretty cool. Love hearing about these cross, pollinating, where iconists are using other icon teams' resources to make their projects come to life, which is fantastic to see. What else? We saw the balance. Oh yeah, the transaction. Parrot and I finished up their work on the new stats page for balance, so that was cool to see. In the background, the integrations, xCall with. I talked about this earlier, very briefly. Things are going well with the integration to Archway. I won't. Famous last words, but things are genuinely going well. And the great thing is, collaborating with the Archway teams, with the IBC Interchain Foundation, we have a lot of conversations if we come across hurdles and things like that, which has been great to be a part of and just observe and see how the teams have been working. But overall, making a lot of traction there. Next up with BTP, I know people may be sitting there. I know if I wasn't involved, I'd be sitting there going, what's happening? Oh my God, we've been on testnet. Why? So to give, again, a bit of perspective there, remember, everything happens in stages. Yes, we got to testnet, but in the background, Parramatta have been busy, again, running, testing and optimizing all the contracts, the relays, everything. And every day they find different things that they can optimize. And this is their time to actually optimize, because before they were running local instances, you can do only so much until you hit testnet, and then you start to see things that you just couldn't see before. So this is actually happening in the background. I know many people have heard the testnet incentivization stuff. That's going to happen, but before that happens, there'll be a bit of a focus testing, which you saw in the dev update get released. So a bit of context around that. It is very much a smaller pool of devs who know our ecosystem, working in our ecosystem. We get a time frame where, Parramatta have ideas that they want to see teams utilize these components, and so that they can test to see what happens in those scenarios and take that kind of feedback, if I'm putting it very high level. And part of this process is do the focus testing, get that feedback, implement quality fixes, like proper fixes, and based on the feedback, changes, things that need to happen properly. The testnet integrations stay active, like people can still use them and whatnot, but this is giving them the valuable data they need. And then after that, we then move on to that testnet incentivization, because when we're in the testnet incentivization phase, the goal will be that everything should run without fail. Like you want to have an incentivized testnet period, like 3 weeks, and things are just running. People are able to run the applications, build it, do whatever they need to without the networks going out or anything like that. So this is kind of the phase approach that will be happening. And so that is what's happening with BTP. So, and then to you saw one of the challenges. This was it's a bit of an unfortunate thing, but Binance Smart Chain have come together with a couple of big updates, changing their consensus mechanisms, which traditionally, and I'll use Icon Bridge as an example for context. So these changes have impacted our BTP in terms of the testnet from Icon to Binance Smart Chain. Traditionally, if we had a mainnet integration, we would see it on testnet. We would then take that and go, okay, these are the changes we need to make based on what they've, we'll build it, test it. Binance Smart Chain will say, yes, we're going to mainnet here. We then, on this date, we then have that date. We've got our working, right? So in this case, we're only on testnet and we've just seen the changes. The team have actually patched the first update, which is called Lubin. Oh goddamn!
That's correct.
Yeah.
100.
Yes.
12 points.
And then there's a second update that now finally they've dropped. That again, there's substantial changes there, so it need to work through. But using the same example, Icon Bridge. So I don't know, maybe people don't realize this, but on testnet, Icon Bridge has stopped working since these changes, because again, the changes need to happen. But mainnet's working fine. See, so we're already in the background making the changes for Icon Bridge based on the consensus that the update that we need to do. We'll test it, and then we'll be ready to go live when it goes live on Binance Smart Chain mainnet. But that's an example comparison of the workflow. That's why you've seen BTP kind of get impacted with Binance Smart Chain, because it's where it's at in the development cycle.
Thanks.
Yeah, good. Okay.
Insightful.
Good.
That does bring us to the end, Fez, and I would like to mention the last two surprise cap integrations. I see that you've integrated with 16-bit Fight Club for your headwear today, and I'd like to give a special shout out to Alter Drop, Alter, the project on Icon, bringing high quality Icon merchandise. I got my cap in the other day.
Is it? Oh, that's the cap, is it? Yes. Okay.
Yeah, and you've seen pictures on Twitter of other people in the Icon ecosystem getting their caps in, and it's linked to your wallet on chain, and it comes with a little card with the candle wax stamped Alter logo on it. Nice plush baggy, and the cap is high quality. If you've got a massive head, this cap will fit, I've noticed. So I like to think that you've seen me in real life. I like to think I have an average head, and it fits quite well.
Just tall.
Yeah, not really.
Hi, David. Okay.
But if you have a large head, it will fit as well. So that's a little insight into cap and headwear these days, and that could be the end of this episode.
Yep. No, great. I'm keen to, when we meet up, our next meet up, to see the hat. And you know what, though? It is the end of the episode, but kudos to Alter, making some inroads, a lot of collaborations, other chains, but Icon. And, I saw the other day Zeely, which is, everyone would know if you're in the ecosystem, it's like a Web3 leveling up system. You log in a wallet, Discord, etc., and then you can set a bunch of tasks and people do them and they gain XP. Zeely themselves are actually tweeting about Alter and things like that and cross promotional activities. So the guys are doing a good job, and yeah, their products are also. I still have my old hat that Frankie gifted me, and I'm forever grateful. So
Damn.
yeah, love it. Okay,
Love it.
okay, that's it.
Thanks.
So a blubble goodbye to everyone. Bye.
Bye.
I couldn't help it.